The true biblical story of the wise King Solomon. 1. Solomon, the son of David. King Solomon was the son of King David. When David became old, by the command of God, Solomon was made the king of Israel. Solomon was very young, inexperienced, but his heart was humble. One night God appeared to Solomon in a dream and said, "Ask for whatever you want me to give you." Now think, he could have asked for wealth, power, or long life, but Solomon said, "Lord, give me wisdom and understanding to judge your people rightly." Hearing this, God was pleased and said, "Since you have not asked for wealth or glory, I will give you wisdom such as no one has ever had before or after you. And along with that, I will also give you riches and honor." Thus Solomon became the wisest man in the world. 2. Solomon's judgment, the example of true wisdom. One day, two women came before King Solomon. Both were arguing over one baby. One said, "This child is mine." The other said, "No, the child is mine." There were no witnesses, so it was impossible to know the truth. Solomon thought for a moment and said, "Cut the living child in two. Give half to one woman and half to the other." At once, one woman cried out, "No, please don't kill the child. Let her have him instead." The other woman remained silent. Then Solomon smiled and said, "Give the baby to the one who wants him to live. She is the real mother." When the people of Israel heard this, they were amazed and said, "Surely the wisdom of God is in Solomon." 3. The temple of God. Solomon fulfilled his father David's dream. He built a great temple in Jerusalem for the Lord. It was decorated with gold, silver, and precious stones. When the temple was completed, Solomon lifted his hands and prayed, "O Lord, creator of heaven and earth, this house cannot contain you, but let it be a place where your name dwells. Whenever your servant prays here, hear from heaven and forgive." Immediately fire came down from heaven and consumed the offering on the altar. This was the sign of God's presence. The people bowed down and said, "The Lord is good, his mercy endures forever." That was the greatest moment of Solomon's life. He became a symbol of wisdom, honor, and peace. 4. Wealth, fame, and glory. Solomon's kingdom became very prosperous. Kings from distant lands came to hear his wisdom. Even the Queen of Sheba came to meet him and said, "I heard of your wisdom and greatness, but now that I have seen it, your glory is far greater than what I had heard." Solomon possessed countless treasures, gold, silver, and precious stones. His palaces were made of marble, and his ships traveled to faraway nations. People said, "There has never been anyone as wise and wealthy as Solomon." But slowly, this same wealth and glory became the cause of his downfall. 5. The fall. When Solomon turned away from God. As time passed, Solomon married many women from other nations, and many of them worshipped idols. Gradually, Solomon's heart turned away from the Lord. He built altars for foreign gods, Ashtoreth, Moloch, and Chemosh, the very things God had forbidden. The Bible says, when Solomon grew old, his heart was no longer fully devoted to the Lord. He was no longer humble or obedient. Then God said to him, "Because you have not followed my ways, I will take most of the kingdom away from you after your death. Yet, for the sake of your father David, I will not do it in your lifetime." After Solomon's death, his kingdom was divided into Israel and Judah. Thus, the wisdom that once made him the greatest king was weakened by pride and disobedience. 6. Deep lessons from Solomon's life. True wisdom comes from God. Solomon received it when he asked with humility. So we too should seek spiritual wisdom, not just wealth. Wealth and fame are useless if they lead us away from God. Solomon had everything, yet in the end his heart was empty. Because without God there is no real peace. Obedience brings the greatest blessing. When Solomon obeyed, his kingdom prospered. But when he turned away, his fall began. The biggest test of a person is not in failure, but in success, to see if we remain humble or become proud. Humility, not riches, is the true treasure. In his later years, Solomon himself wrote, Ecclesiastes 12:13, "Everything is meaningless unless a man fears God and keeps his commandments." The life of Solomon teaches us no one, not even the wisest king, can stand without God. True greatness is not in what we possess, but in how much we allow God to rule our hearts.